we don't want this guy the fun walk or whatever we're calling this thing tomorrow, Aaron, because he's too healthy.
Exactly.
See, we want Aaron. If you could get like fat, pasty colleagues of yours to stand next to Willie and myself, because look at me. I mean, my head is like bigger than like your entire torso. I'm so fat. So find your fattest members and bring them out to this event, if you will.
I'll see what I can do.
So we were just talking to Senator Brown that talked about how the Republican Party has no control over its base. I think he gave a pretty compelling statistic. I think 8 selections by the Republican Senatorial Committee booted out of the primaries. Why the disconnect between the establishment Republicans in D.C. and the base?
Well, I think what it says is that there's a new kind of voter showing up at the polls this election cycle. I know in my home state of Illinois, a state that's the home of Barack Obama, that the people showing up even in our U.S. Senate race and our gubernatorial primary this past February were completely different. The people that were projected to win our gubernatorial nomination did not win, and we nominated other folks that the electorate wanted instead. So I think what it shows is that the typical voter, the motivated voter this election cycle is different than your typical election cycle in years past.
Mark Halpern.
Congressman, as specifically as you can, explain what the Tea Party movement stands for.
Well, you know, in the district where I come from, when I've met with the Tea Party groups in my district, the one thing nationwide that they talk about is fiscal responsibility, spending, the concern for the deficit.
And what do they want? What do they want cut?
They want, first of all, us to stop growing the size of government, and then they want us to roll back a lot of the new federal workers that we've added. A lot of them talk about the 100,000+ federal workers that have been added in the year and a half since President Obama was inaugurated. They talk about the stimulus bill, which really wasn't infrastructure, but was rather a ramp up over a 10-year period of new federal programs and long-term spending. So they first want all of that rolled back to 2008 spending levels, and then they want us to go in and try and cut. And so the Republican conference has tried to respond. We came up with the U-Cut proposal that you're familiar with, where members of the public and members of Congress can offer up ideas where we can cut. But, you know, first let's get back to the spending levels we had back in 2008, which would save nearly $1 trillion. And then we can go and try and find more fat within the federal government that we can eliminate.
Harold Ford.
Congressman and Savannah, I'd love your thinking on what the White House may be saying on this. Congressman, do you think that typical Republicans, the ones you talked about, will be able to join forces with atypical or new voters that have come out in this election cycle to try to help Republicans win, try to help these Tea Party candidates to win? Or do you think that typical Republicans will stay home, which is the conventional thinking, and advantage Democrats in some of these key states?
I think, Harold, at the end of the day, Republican voters and Tea Party voters are motivated together, are unified together in concern for the country and the direction that this president and Congress is taking this nation. And while they may not agree in the primary about which candidate is best to lead the Republican ticket, at the end of the day, they're going to see President Obama and Speaker Pelosi and Harry Reid in the Congress, and they're going to see our Republican candidates who are offering substantially different directions, substantially different alternatives, and they're going to say at the end of the day, you know what, we need to clip the president's wings, we need to moderate his agenda, and we need to restore some balance in Congress, and we're going to go out and vote for the Republican candidates. And I think that's at the end of the day why we have a great shot of taking back control of Congress.
Chris Jansen.
Savannah, I'm curious then, the White House, when they look at the results of last night's primaries and they see some new opportunities there,